Yo, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to your favorite show on a Wednesday night. I am, as you can see in that title screen right there, I am the king of the DILFs. I am always searching for the next MILF to slay, Mr. GQ.
I am the leader of the baby mama Steelers,
Yeah.
DJ Michael B.
Yes, sir. Special shout out to the homie Your Goat for putting that beautiful thumbnail together that you guys saw on the YouTube as we got some things prepped up and ready for you. Our guest of honor will be here when he gets here shortly, and then we'll get it rocking and rolling with the best part of this entire episode, which is going to be the From the Sidelines Chronicles Chapter 2, featuring the homie Moo. But while we waiting on that, we got to recap it.
Hey,
UFC 287. What you got?
Before we get to that though, y'all make sure and check out the Monday show, the basketball show. Your GOAT finally came on, and I was very, very impressed because I thought he was just gonna troll the whole show. And he is great at trolling though, because he did troll, but he knew his thing.
He said, "Why I ain't dress up for?" He said, "Why I ain't dress up like I did for the Telegram picture?" It's like I'm in a polo right now.
My God.
Be dressed up. But let's recap UFC 287. It went down. It lived up to a lot of things. We got to see a legend in UFC who kind of built a long career, and Jorge Masvidal finally announced his retirement after he went down to Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns has now vaulted himself definitely into that title fight for the welterweight title in that co-main event. So it was a really good fight. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, watch the highlights. You got to go do it. It was a great fight. Kevin Holland and Santiago Ponzinibbio, another phenomenal fight. Kevin Holland came out banging, and more banging. Put the brakes on Santiago. Did not expect that. I actually thought the fight would be a lot closer. That fight ended in it was like a third round TKO. Christian Rodriguez and Raul Rosa Jr. is a bantamweight fight. Two younger guys, 1-9-1, 171. Really good fight. Went the distance. It was a decision victory. Couldn't go wrong with that. Rob Font and Adrian Yanez. Man, y'all need to go back and watch that KO. Holy shit. That boy Rob Font caught that boy straight slipping and put his ass smooth asleep. It's one of them, you get hit, you saw the jaw move in slow motion. Like it was just rough. And of course, we got to talk about it. The main event, Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, and new UFC middleweight champion, because the style bender has once again captured that belt. And when you talk about trolling, that boy Israel Adesanya was trolling Alex Pereira's son after the fight. So here's a little history lesson, ladies and gentlemen. So if you go back, so Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya go all the way back to some old kickboxing. Like this is their fourth fight. So what happened is when the last time that Alex Pereira actually knocked out Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira's son stood next to Israel when he stood up and did the knockout, like he fainted and fell. And that stuck with him. So when Israel did the same thing to his daddy, he found him in the crowd. He looked at him and said, hey, and then toppled off to the side. It was a phenomenal troll, because I tell you, like I will tell anybody else, man, fuck them kids, all right? Kids deserve it too. You want to go out there and be like that? Hey. And then Alex Pereira called himself getting all pissed. I'm like, bro, teach your son better. Bro, your son was in the middle of the ring acting a fool. Like, you can't get mad that your son got trolled back.
Hey, you know what? You know what's funny? All I'm gonna say is I didn't hear a lot of backlash like when Angel Reese did it back to Caitlyn. But neither here nor there.
Yeah. But we ain't gonna talk about that. But it was a really, really good card. It had an interesting build to it. It went well, and then it turned up. And boy, once it turned up, boy, it just got hot. So definitely was excited to look at that card. So we got some more good fights coming up down the pipe.
So UFC, for people out there that that probably don't watch.
Okay.
What would you say was the fight that got you like into UFC?
It wasn't necessarily a fight, it was a fighter. And so for me, George St. Pierre got me into the UFC. When I first started watching it back when the pay-per-views weren't as big.
Yep.
GSP, Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva. These were guys that I was able to to watch coming up. Forrest Griffin when he was coming up. Of course, we saw Rampage Jackson, like Rashad Evans. Like these are
What's
all fighters that kind of got me into it. And of course, insert my favorite UFC fighter, which is GSP, and then insert John Jones, who came into the mix, and that's what just got me stuck.
what was the one that used to fight with Kimbo?
Oof. Hey, Anthony Showtime Pettis is another one.
That is a monster.
Multi promotional fighter, really good fighter. Lived up to that nickname Showtime because hey, that's my flag football nickname too. There's something about that name Showtime. It's just like that.
Chuck Liddell got me in to watching just him because his Superman punch was phenomenal.
Yeah. Everybody on the UFC game was trying to do the Superman punch and knock somebody out.
And then, but the fight that really good, because you named these two guys back to back, which blows my mind because the fight that really got me into was Rashad Evans versus Rampage.
That's a great fight.
And I lost my damn money.
Yeah. Not to mention some of the other OGs. I mean, you had Mauricio Shogun Hua, of course. Another big one.
One of the greatest knockouts done by him.
Lyoto Machida, another big time guy that was out there that, so it was great to watch it. And then of course we got to watch the growth of the women's divisions finally, with Ronda Rousey coming in and just blowing up, blew the whole scene up, and then got her face blown off by Holly Holm with that kick to the face. But then we also got to see, like we got to finally see Cyborg in UFC. And of course she took that loss to Amanda Nunes, and then Amanda Nunes had double belts. And then we saw Pena knock her out, and now they have a rematch coming up in June. So it's like
UFC wife.
Say what?
So how come you didn't mention your UFC wife?
I'm saving the best for last. Let me be great. So yeah, so we talk about my UFC wife and Miesha Tate. Yeah, I know she took a lot of L's to Ronda Rousey from multiple promotions, but it's just what it is. But
she still won championship.
But it was just something about you, girl. I don't know. But that's just what it was. But if you haven't gotten into UFC, you should. If you're a fan of boxing, you would have enjoyed that main event because there was a lot of there was a lot of boxing going on. There was a lot of boxing science going on. It was beautiful to watch that.
Hey, check that last comment from your GOAT.
Which one? The coconuts?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not even finna. I'm not fucking with him right now. He said, "Oh, okay. I ain't mad. He got good taste though." He said, "Hey, Elixir Grosso, yeah, he got good taste." So
he's absolutely right. He said Shael Sonnen was another one. Yeah. So we found
big time shit talker. Him and Daniel Cormier had some words multiple times.
I'll never forget. He talked all that shit to was it Anderson Silva, and then just got annihilated.
Yeah, annihilated might not even be the right word. He just got erased from all things.
I didn't know who he was before that, but after that,
he trolling my cover photo on the Telegram. But nah, so let's Clay Guida, that's another one I almost forgot to mention. Yeah. So let's make that wonderful pivot. Let's recap. We go back to this wonderful world of WWE. So, of course, everybody and their mom that's been watching here recently, we now have at Backlash, we have got Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Why we have that match, I don't fucking know. But it's what we have. Because at some point, they're gonna give Roman this break. We just don't know. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a Backlash. It looks like he won't be a Backlash so far. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So here we go with this Sin Cara shit again. So me and your GOAT got into a whole ass thing about him talking about the Sin Cara was better than Roman Reigns, and I was like, boy, you sleep. And then it turned into a gift battle. We was sending them back and forth. Like it was like that. But
did he tell you his story about Sin Cara?
No.
Okay, so he does have a story about my wife. He saw Sin Cara in person.
Okay.
At an event. So yeah.
I mean that makes sense. It's true. I mean I understand. So I mean I've been fortunate. I went to WrestleMania when it was here in Houston, back at the Compact Center, so I got to see The Rock and Stone Cold, Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, Triple H. I got to see all these guys up close and personal. So I understand, when you see those larger than life polarizing figures, like, of course, you never forget it. And of course, I got to see when, The Rock and Stone Cold literally were fighting all over the fucking arena. So like that shit was like next level to me. Like as a fan, why would you not like to see something like that?
Yeah.
All right, so our guest of honor is not far away.
All right.
Cool.
So yeah, the Brock Lesnar.
Here we go with this shit again. Me and him been going at it about this because of course we talked about the loss that happened to my Miami Heat. No big deal. It happened. We lost. But then he had the nerve to tell me that his Atlanta Hawk, his Detroit Pistons was better than the Heat, and I was like, first of all, we beat y'all 2 out of 3 times this year. No, yeah, 2 out of 3 times this year. And it wasn't even close. Like, no. But it's okay.
So, the Matt Riddle, the original bro, as some of you know him to be,
former UFC fighter, by the way, for those who don't know. He won a UFC contract from the from Dana White's Contender Series, and the reason he is no longer a UFC fighter is because he could not pass a drug test.
Makes sense.
Actually was a damn good UFC fighter. Like I watched the fights that he had. Like, dude was solid. Like, you can see why his strikes in WWE are so fluid, because those are literally the same strikes that he had in UFC. I have to send you the little compilation video. It's dope.
But his return so far has been, to me, his return so far to me has been underwhelming, and I just, what are they? I don't know if they're going to try and give him a singles push, or they're just going to have him team with Sammy and KO for now at Backlash, which I think that's where it's heading. And
you got to think about it like this too. He just got back, so he's kind of like trying to get that feeling out process. They've got to figure out where to put him, because the last time we saw him, the Usos took him out. So right now, what it looks like is Riddle trying to get his retribution against the Usos, which means we're looking at most likely a 6-man tag match between Sammy KO and Matt Riddle versus the Usos and probably and Solo Sikoa. That's what it looks like. Just the way the story is kind of going. Should it be a Backlash? Whatever. I guess they got to fill the card. But I mean, we also we also had another person turn the tide, if you will. Trish Stratus turning on Becky Lynch, costing them the tag team titles after attacking Lita. Shades of the Attitude Era, when Trish used to do this to Lita all the time when she was paired up with Christian and stuff. So we've seen this before. But I saw this funny ass picture on Facebook, and it was like the theme of the week was be careful who you choose as a tag team partner. And it was Brock after he had Cody down, and it was Trish after she had Becky down. She was pretty funny.
But you know what? I will say, I do like that they chose Liv and Raquel to be the tag.
I'm fine with it, because I definitely didn't want to see Ronda and Shayna if I could help it. Like I just
they don't need to be a tag team at all.
They're so fucking stale.
They don't need to be a tag team at all. That's just
I mean, I don't know. Shayna could be fine by herself, but Ronda is just not that good. Like, she's just not that good by herself. Her moveset's the same. There's a lot of botches that happen in her matches. Like,
it's because she's not a wrestler.
No, I mean, but even with her judo background, you would think she would improve and get better on the mat, because judo still takes a certain skill set.
Yeah, but if she ain't practicing as much as she, appreciate that pin, my dude.
Never forget it. But with her, it's like, at this point, I don't know what she should do. I don't know what the move is for her. I don't know what you do with her, because her matches are boring. She has the same. It's like watching a female Gobert. It's like the same 5 to 6 moves, and that's it. Like, there's no diversity. Like, none of that.
At this point, I don't even feel like it's believable if Ronda was to even win a belt, I'd be like, really? This isn't even believable. She hasn't been good. The crowd hates her,
Yeah, I
and
mean, at least, yeah,
it's not even
they,
like they do hate her. They just be like, why is she wrestling?
yeah, like, and they really tried hard with the Rowdy Piper thing, which wasn't bad. It was a good persona for her, like it really was, but like it just she did not have the matches to back up such a persona.
Yeah.
Because I mean, say what you want about Brock, at least for the most part, Brock puts on a somewhat entertaining match because he's a larger than life human being, and Suplex City is still catchy as hell.
Suplex City, bitch.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't mad at him. I'm in the same boat.
100%.
And she's a gamer. But other than that, I mean, if you look at NXT, they've got Braun Breaker now as a heel, a very unbelievable heel. Like you watch him and it's like it feels forced. It doesn't feel like a natural heel. He's a natural face. Like he's literally he's the type of guy that like he really tried to go heel and it's really not. It doesn't fit him.
I'll sit here and say this Braun Breaker is like the opposite of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
In the sense that it wasn't really working for Roman as a face. But then when he turned heel, he was just an absolute monster when the bloodline thing started. Maybe they just want him to have a heel turn for a little bit and then move him back face. Hopefully that's the case because it looks forced. Because I did watch the promo from all of them in the ring the other night.
Shout out to Troy on the backside over there. We always got love for the other producer around there.
Yes, sir, Troy. He already started, bro.
Oh, it's gonna be one of them nights, and it's only gonna get better once we get the guest of honor on here. It's gonna be even better. But we had to make sure we got all these things covered. I put my real talk together. Oh, it's gonna be spicy.
Speaking of that,
it's gonna be spicy to say the least.
Speaking of segments, I got this one today because I learned something today, and I kind of want to make I don't know what I'll call it yet, but I mean, I think Troy does it. So I kind of don't want to do. I kind of don't want to do it on Gentleman's Talk either. But it's kind of like the stats, and it's because it's based on something true about the person. And I want to see if you can figure out who it is.
Like okay, interesting.
So, just like if I was to say, hey, there's this wrestler. He had this crazy long streak at WrestleMania. He won, and you obviously the Undertaker. But
yeah, obviously it'd be the Undertaker. But
so I got one for you. I just want to see. If you can figure it out.
All right, let's go.
I'll give you a little background of the guy. He was not a star player. He was a role player. He played with some all-time greats at that. Okay. Great three-point shooter in his era. But the stat that stands out the most, and I think a lot of people don't realize it, this guy four-peated while he was in the NBA.
Damn.
And it's something crazy to say you four-peated in Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon's era. So that would obviously
did he play half and half?
That obviously means he played for two different. He at least played for two different teams.
Yeah, he had to.
Not only that, he is still involved in the NBA right now. He's not a current player, but he's still
obviously given this 2023. He better not be playing right now. I'm gonna be on year 34.
4 championships in a row. I never realized it until today when I saw this dang YouTube video. Blew my mind. You have any idea who this player is?
Played with the Bulls and the Rockets. Well, you said he played with Hakeem, so that
no, I didn't say he played with Hakeem.
That's what I thought you just said.
No, I just said it's something to say that you four-peated in the era that was dominated by Jordan and Hakeem.
And he four-peated. So, first person I'm gonna guess is I'm gonna throw Dennis Rodman out there.
No. Dennis had the missed years when he was in San Antonio.
Well, but he played for the Pistons and then he played for the Bulls.
Yeah, this guy won 4 championships in a row. Remember, Dennis was on the second second three of the Bulls, and he won in the 80, 89, and 90 with the Pistons. That was a good guess, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a real good guess.
As the first person I could think of that switched teams and won multiple championships. Like that was the first one that came to mind.
By the way, he did with the 2 franchises he did play for. He did win multiple championships with them.
Was it Steve Kerr?
There you go. Steve Kerr won 96, 97, 98, left the Bulls, went to the Spurs, and won in 99. And it never dawned me because I forgot he was part of it. I thought he just won in
99 was Tim Duncan's rookie year, wasn't it? When he played when David Robinson was kind of on his way out.
Yeah. I was watching the video and it came up and I was like, yo, that's crazy.
So that was Steve Kerr. That was David Robinson. That was Tim Duncan. That was Bruce Bowen. That was
Avery Johnson, Vinny Del Negro. You know I know the team.
I know you know your Spurs. But that's solid though.
I was like, yo, that's something I never knew. I probably didn't. I didn't think about it like that until I saw the video today. It was like they were talking about all of Steve Kerr's rings, and I was like, wait, he won 4 in a row.
And then he's got what? How many has he got with Golden State? What, 4?
11 overall, I think.
Because he's got 4. Yeah, he's got to have 4 as a coach with Golden State.
3 with the Bulls. Oh, okay. So maybe 9 and 2 with the Spurs. So maybe 9.
Yeah, I think it's 9. He's behind Phil Jackson. I think Phil got 11 or 10. Phil got 10 or 11. One of those.
Phil got some crazy.
Pat Riley got 7 or 8.
Shit, Pat Riley. He won what?
Riley got some. He got him with the Lakers. He got him with obviously he got it with Miami as the coach, and then you got because you had 06.
As a player.
Yeah, as a player he got 1. So there's 1. Then you had what, 2?
3.
Was it 3? Was it 3 it was 3 with the Lakers. It was 2?
3 with the Lakers.
3 with the Lakers. And then 3 with the Heat.
Yep.
Yeah, because he got 06 and then the 2 that they got with the Heatles.
Yep.
And then we almost had another one, but we lost to the Lakers in the bubble.
I was going to bring it up, but I thought if I said that, it would rub you the wrong way.
Nah, it should rub your goat the wrong way because he ain't sniffed the finals since they beat the Lakers.
Oh my God, you are an asshole.
And if you don't know, now you know. Oh, they're cold for that. Don't ask Moulins about his childhood. He's going to start talking about stories from the 1950s.
Oh, my God.
This man act like Moulins. Oh, so you talked about it in our little pre-show. Let's talk about, you said you wanted to recap fantasy basketball. So I'll start with the most important part of it all.
That was the reason we bringing up the 4-peat. So the transition because you are now a 5-in-a-row champion in fantasy basketball.
Yeah, because I am currently on a 5-peat right now in our fantasy basketball league. I just secured my 5th championship. So I'm over here like Booker T, 5-time fantasy basketball. That gives me 7. That's 7 overall in our league since we started. What can I say? Here you go. We are still better than Miami. No, you're not. That's why you're not even in the play-in. You're not even in the discussion of the play anything.
You know what?
You might be playing for a lottery pick.
While we're talking about you doing your 5-peat in fantasy basketball, you know what time it is because I told you earlier. I'm calling out every single member of From the Sidelines. Yeah, y'all talk about basketball all the time. Now come put your skill where your mouth is. Come put your skill where your mouth is. We do it every year.
Hey, I'm with it. I'll invite everybody.
I especially want Troy to come play.
Your goat's invited too.
All he gonna do is pick the Pistons roster, and he's gonna swim.
Hey, I had 3 Pistons on my fantasy roster. Of course, I had Jaden Ivey. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an obvious one. And I had Durden too. Durden was good. Let's go. He said, I'll play. Already got one. Bet next basketball season is going down. Hey, we can load this thing up. We can have like a 12-team league. I'm with it. I've been waiting for that.
I've been waiting for that too. I have been waiting for because I'm tired of people that don't know how to draft.
I'm tired of people that don't maintain their rosters.
Yeah,
that's the shit. That's why I want to almost scrap 90% of our fantasy football league too.
I got a piss poor attitude after I lost in the semifinals. I was like, I don't give a damn about consolation.
That's how I felt about CJ's league when I took second. I was mad as fuck. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't give a damn. I was like, man, consolation, whatever.
I was like, don't nobody care about consolation. That's like taking what is it? It's like taking the fifth place ribbon at the field day and trying to take a picture with it. Man, you better throw that shit in the trash.
That's the problem. Participation trophies.
Fuck, I look like nope.
Throwing that shit away. I threw away all my participation ribbons.
I didn't get no participation. There wasn't no such thing. If it wasn't gold, silver, or bronze, I ain't getting it.
I don't want it.
You see anything? You see anything crazy happen in the world of dumbass millionaires?
I didn't, but on the flip side, I've seen something happen in the world of smart ass millionaires.
I'm with it. What you do?
There is they said a tech firm, but it's not really tech. It's tech, but it's not tech. So there are a group of developers, and they are coming out with an app for shoe heads to be able to trade on app, basically, instead of always having to go sell something and then buy something. You know, just like, hey, if I got these shoes and you want them, you got these shoes and I want them, boom. Or the people investing, they also stock up on certain shoes and you could trade. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. And the man they picked to endorse the company, I can't remember the name of the company right now. I wrote it down at work and I left the paper. But the man they picked to basically lead and endorse them, and he's one of their top investors, is Penny Hardaway.
Interesting.
And they're already talking about the phone posits and the penny ones will be readily available in different sizes at any time of the year.
I need the name of the app because I want to go ahead and buy some stock in it.
Yeah. And
just so I can sit on it.
Yeah. They chose Penny Hardaway. I think they made the right call with Penny Hardaway, even though, you know, he just had his little bit of troubles at Memphis.
Depends on what you call trouble. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah.
There's worse things that could have happened in the world of college than, you know, what went down with that.
I mean, he could have been Juwan Howard.
You're right. He could have basically got into a whole ass altercation and tried to knock a dude out with the cameras rolling.
Speaking of dumbass millionaires, welcome to your shining moment, Juwan Howard. Y'all know that song "One Shining Moment" by Luther Vandross for the NCAA?
Since we doing it, let me go ahead and play it one time. Oh man, we done welcome somebody else to the club.
Oh man. So that's an oldie but a goodie. I know y'all remember Juwan Howard swung.
But since we talking about players that swung, let me add another one. And his name is Rudy Gobert. I can't even say he swung. He like tapped that man in his chest. That's basically what he did. But we know that Rudy Gobert has had a reputation for being a soft big man, despite being a multi-time defensive player of the year. So it's like a weird, I don't know. It's a weird misconception. I don't know. But him and Ryan Anderson, one of your former San Antonio Spurs.
Whoa.
Kyle, whatever. I
don't do that.
Name. I just remembered he played for the Spurs. I had him on a fantasy team before.
Respectful.
It is what it is. But they got into a little. Well, I say it started off as what looked like some banter. You know, it was like, oh, man, you need to block some shots, and you know, Rudy was like, oh, won't you grab a rebound? And then he was like, nah, fuck you, bitch. And it was like, then they just got into a whole altercation. I'm like, hold on.
For one, I'll say this: the perception of Rudy Gobert being soft. If there was anything to solidify that, was that weak ass swing he threw.
Yeah. I mean,
Secondly,
if you was gonna hit him, you should have went ahead and just hit him.
secondly, man, we all know these NBA players don't want no smoke. They don't want no smoke, like
Yeah,
none.
they act like it, but they really don't.
I mean, the last players we see want to smoke was Brandon Ingram, Chris Paul, and Rajon Rondo, and they're all
Yeah.
older than them. That was
Yeah.
just in the application.
Yeah, like NBA players today that try to act hard, I'm like, bro, y'all don't want the smoke, because if y'all had dealt with players from the 90s and the 2000s, like y'all, no.
And the thing is, a lot of these players are second generation players now, or second generation of some former pro athlete or Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, bro, y'all wasn't in the streets getting it. You lived a pretty good life. I will never understand why a lot of people might not get this reference, but you and me know why you grew up in country club when it opened up and it was brand new with $250 million homes, but want to be from Macna that's been around since the 40s with a bunch of rundown homes and it's the hood, bro.
Know your ass go to Lee High School acting like you went to fucking Barbers Hill and shit.
Like, it just, then you want to come to the hood and then you want to play hard. And then a lot of these dudes do that too. Now they get to the NBA and you want to gang bang all of a sudden. Snoop said something about it the other day too.
Yeah.
Like, the people that get in trouble in the NBA is the ones that want to prove themselves that they're hard to people in the hood and they not from there. And the ones that get the respect in the hood is the one that's from there and got themselves straight and made it out.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a hater or two along the way.
There's always a hater. But speaking of, you brought it up and I was like, hold on, I got to bring it up. We put it in our chat. We talking about dumbass millionaires. We got to talk about Dylan Brooks in that fucking outfit. My man straight up.
Well, what came to my mind when I seen Dylan Brooks? Sadate.
Oh, not Pootie. See, you went Pootie thing, and the first thing I thought about was Chappelle Show with the Player Haters Club.
Oh, yeah.
hate. That's straight up what Dylan Brooks looked. I felt like he was about to get smacked up by Ice-T, bro. Like, that's how it looked. Like,
I was scrolling on Facebook and I seen that picture. I was like, what the hell? I like, did this nigga got a perm? Oh my God. I can't.
I mean, he ain't playing until Sunday, so he ain't have nothing else to do.
Oh my God. I'm happy you brought it up because I forgot about that.
I don't know. I put that in our chat. I was like, nah, fam.
His family and friends ain't shit for letting him step out the house like that.
I appreciate that, big homie.
Oh, for real. Hey.
Yeah, like I was just like, dog, like you really showed up. And you know what? If he'd have pulled up with the perm and like a mink coat, then I would have had to call him like Andre 3000 from from International Players Anthem.
Nah, you know that remind me of PIMP video when all the players was around, and he was like, nigga ain't got no perm. He ain't got no everything they said that 50 didn't have, Dylan had on. Like, oh my God. Who was Bishop Bishop Don Juan?
Don Juan, yeah. My man with the green, the yellow, the orange, the burgundy suits. Yeah, that's Bishop Don Juan. That's the OG. OG triple. That
boy looked like he was trying to imitate Cat Williams at Pimp Chronicles.
I'm telling you.
Like, come on, man. Oh man. Maybe we should make it a habit in the postseason to grade these styles of players as they enter into the arena.
You know what? Say less.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna ever let Kyle Kuzma let that shit go.
Bruh, Kyle Kuzma walking like Barney on crack, bruh. Come on,
man. Came in with that damn pink sweater with the extra long sleeves. Couldn't even have his hands through. Looked like if the wind would have blew his ass, would have flew away like a kite.
Listen, that shit looked like it was knitted by his grandma, in the 60s and was like, well, baby, you grow into it eventually.
Yeah, look, get it when you 3 years old, can't wear it till you're 7. It's really a hand me down from your big cousin, but you can't wear it yet. But when it's time though, you only gonna wear that hoe for like a month because your ass going through a growth spurt too.
Oh man.
Like, oh man, like I don't understand some of the styles that these cats be wearing, and I'm like,
I'm so happy the Clippers made it because I ain't letting Russell Westbrook make a damn thing this year.
oh no.
Like,
He has his own clothing label.
he does. Hey, just because you have your own clothing label, don't mean it's a good one, dog.
Oh, he wrong for that. No, he Seth though. Some of his stuff be drippy, some of his stuff be suspect. Like sometimes he dressed like Prince, and then sometimes he dressed like himself. Like,
hey, listen. Nobody rocked them damn Mickey Mouse boots better than Seth Rollins did.
bro, I can't believe people was really rocking them damn boots, bro. Like GQ style or Telegram is better than Dylan Brooks. Hey man, Dylan Brooks might have more money than me, but I guarantee he don't outdress me though.
There's a reason why he's called Mr. GQ.
Look, I'm in casual right now with the polo, but don't let me start pulling the suit jackets and stuff out. That's a whole nother ball game.
Just there's a reason why he's called Mr. GQ.
Hey, and if you don't know, now you know. So, oh man, there was another we'll save that one for there. We'll say that one for the interview because that one was important. But oh, you know what? Let me give an honorable mention for my dumbass millionaires because I had to bring up, and it's not because he did anything like nefarious. It's just he just needed to shut the hell up. And his name is Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers came out, like I say he came out, he kind of like, how do you describe Aaron Rodgers? He's like,
dumbass.
Aaron Rodgers is like a character from Anchorman.
Yeah, an intellectual dumbass.
So like he had came out, like, so first of all, he had one of his teammates come out, former teammates, Bakhtiari, and say, look, man, it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to go to the Jets and all this, that, and the other. Y'all just, be patient. And I'm like, all right. But then he followed up, and his story popped up on one of my sources, and he was like, then Aaron Rodgers talking about it's leaked that Aaron Rodgers told the Jets they can take their time on the trade, and there's no rush and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's because your ass ain't trying to go to training camp. King of the deals. You heard him. Just like last year, he trying to show up at the last minute. He ain't trying to, put the work in. I'm like, bro, they building this team for you. You need to be there. Like, period.
No, but see, like I tell you, that makes too much sense. Aaron Rodgers, he's a diva. He wants to be controversial. He wants to be the guy that is to him is the smartest person in the room when you're probably the dumbest one out of all of them. I mean, just Aaron Rodgers probably needs to have a therapist. That's probably what it is.
Look, that therapist will be highly paid.
I mean, sometimes I get to the point where I'm questioning if Aaron Rodgers already got CTE because some of the stuff that he did. I give you the answer for Aaron Rodgers on what Aaron Rodgers should do. Retire.
Well, as it currently stands, he's going to end up as a CJ's punk ass Jet.
Well, that depends on if the Jets are willing to make the deal the Packers want for Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, man, he ain't robbed the Lions last year. The Lions got their get back last year. Not once, but twice.
Boy,
Detroit got in that ass this past season.
I ain't gonna lie, Detroit really pissed me off last year winning that game.
No, not me.
Pissed me the fuck off
because I called it.
You did.
In our season-long battle bet, I called that one. I mean, I called Detroit just in general, but with a lot of things. But like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be a real good time right there.
Well, moving here. So let's cross. We're getting some fantasy sports. Let's do some fantasy football real quick.
Yeah, let's get into it. What you want?
So as we're going, last year around this time, whenever fantasy, we were just giving draft tips and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna give y'all a draft tip that I gave out last year, and I did the exact opposite. All right. I said do not draft a quarterback with the first overall pick. All right. So what happened was I knew who I was going to draft in the first round because I didn't expect to have the first pick. So
there's a lot of pressure in the first pick of a fantasy draft.
Yeah, because ours is random, so you don't even know ahead of time.
No, it is and it's not random. It's random based off of last year's results. I make sure that the bottom two teams get one of the top four, the two of the top four picks, and after that, it's completely just shuffled up.
I was about to say I wasn't in the bottom two last year either, but so basically, what happened was, boom, I have the number one overall pick, and it was the first time I drafted from start to finish in our fantasy football league because normally I miss like the first couple rounds or something.
Or your internet suck ass.
Yeah, because I work in a warehouse. So, so with the first overall pick, I broke my own rule. My rule: don't draft a quarterback with the first overall pick. What did I do?
Drafted Josh Allen.
Okay. While that didn't backfire on me because Josh Allen single-handedly carried a couple of games, probably more than a couple of games for me.
You probably carried about 68% of your season.
Part of the problem was this asshole over here next to me got Gabriel Davis, and another asshole got Stephon Diggs. So my tip to y'all this year is if you can get a 11 to 16 quarterback, like in the second, third round, and somebody like a top four receiver that's going to put up numbers, take the damn receiver first. Because if I was thinking, I'd have took Stephon Diggs first, but somebody would have got me and took Josh Allen because we're like, nigga, nope, not doing that. And it would have probably been you just to be funny, and then you would have been like, all right, nigga, go ahead and mortgage everything.
Nah, Josh Allen actually was not on my draft board because I knew he'd be gone because I drafted in the middle of the draft. So I was like, nah, he ain't going to be there. So I just took him off my board altogether. My fantasy tips are pretty simple. This guy here, him and his trolling. He going to learn a real tough lesson.
Gonna learn, bro.
So listen, my fantasy strategy has not changed since I started playing fantasy sports. And it's very simple. You build your fantasy roster like you would build a franchise. You need stars, not names. Notice what I said. I said stars. Guys that produce. Quarterbacks produce, but there's 32 of them. I don't need the top 1, 2, 3, or 4. I don't, and I'm not going to, obviously, by the time I draft a quarterback, it's not going to be the bottom 27 through 32. Typically, my quarterback is somewhere between 5 and 15 as far as their ranking. And then, like last year, I drafted Patrick Mahomes. I got Patrick Mahomes in the 5th round last year. Put that into perspective. That's how late I was able to draft Patrick Mahomes, and you see how that season finished for Patrick Mahomes last year. That's what I did in my money league last year. And I finished 2nd in my money league last year.
You had Patrick Mahomes in you. I was about to say there's no way in hell you drafted Patrick Mahomes.
I had a money league. No, in our league I had Joe Burrow.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Same guy.
Yeah. Which is still good. Which is still good. I had Joe Burrow and I had Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
I had Josh freaking Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. See, I had Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Now that's the only thing I'm gonna do different this year in my PPR league, my money league. I'm not drafting 2 quarterbacks. I'm drafting 1 quarterback. I'm not drafting a second.
No, because you can just pick one up on the waiver wire when the other one is off.
Yeah, because if I wouldn't, because I went back and reevaluated it, and if I would not have taken Aaron Rodgers, there was about 4 or 5 guys that I could have taken at that part of the draft that would have made a big difference in, There was guys like Brees Hall were still available. There were
Tua.
guys like Tua was there, but I drafted a second quarterback and I should not have. But Amon-Ra St. Brown was still on the board at that time. Garrett Wilson was still on the board at that time. Who else was on the board at that time? I'm looking at last year's stuff.
You're not supposed to name Lions. I said Pistons.
Oh, I ain't tripping. I don't give a damn. Brandon Ayuk was still on the board because I drafted Rodgers in like the 8th round. So like there are other players I could have taken, but I didn't. But it's okay. Like I said, I still finished second. Here he go. The type of player who drafts Blake Griffin with the first pick. Not even close. I've never had Blake Griffin on a single fantasy basketball team ever.
I can't say the same. But the year I did have him, he was good. He was still with the Clippers.
The year you had him was the same year I had Mr. Triple Double Westbrook.
Yeah.
And I had MVP Steph.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you took Steph with the first overall pick that year.
I sure did. I sure did without a single hesitation. So when it comes to PPR, for those who are new to the world of, trying to get there, between some people like fantasy, I mean, some people like standard, some people like PPR. Apparently there's also half PPR, which I'm like, what the fuck? That don't even make sense. But
is that the head-to-head thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's best ball you talking about.
No, okay.
He said he would win the fantasy basketball.
Well, I already called you out, so you said you're in. So when that time comes around, I don't want to hear you not playing.
Yeah, so when you end up in like 5th place, I want to hear your mouth. Just don't be that guy. If you draft a whole bunch of Pistons, you're not gonna finish in the top 5. You'll finish in the top 8.
Yeah, but that's not an accomplishment because our team only had 10 this year.
Yeah, 10. He said I do play. That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
I play too. He said I'm a GOAT. You heard what he said. He said I'm a GOAT. Well, if you're a GOAT, I am the GOAT.
All right.
I got the championships to back it up. I'm just, throwing that out there.
But PPR is different. So
in essence, with PPR, what you want to, you want your quarterback to be able to throw and be great at what he does, but it benefits you that much more. This is why a guy like last year, specifically, Jalen Hurts was a phenomenal PPR quarterback because not only was he good, he was a good passer, he was a great runner. This is also why a guy like Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, obviously, until he got hurt. Even Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, when they were ready. That's why these particular quarterbacks make solid, even Josh Allen for a while, make solid PPR quarterbacks because it's the threat of their legs too, on top of what they can do with their arm. And now if you get that quarterback that can do both, that much better, right? But there's only 4, maybe 5 quarterbacks that can do both like that on a high level. I mean, for sure. I mean, even last year it was mostly Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Kyler prior to the injury. Justin Fields gave it to you on the legs, but not with the arm because he didn't have a lot of people to throw to. Deshaun in his heyday prior to the injuries was one who could give it to you with his arms and his legs. Lamar Jackson too. Joe Burrow gave you some not too bad with the legs. He was all right. I mean, Patrick Mahomes will surprise you. He'll take off on a scramble, and you'll be like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I've got my board together. I'm in my first dynasty league this year, so that I'm really looking forward to.
So here we go. I'm gonna do some quick takes.
Go for it.
And I need 2 answers from every quick take I ask you. Right?
Oh, you need 2 answers.
I do, because I want them to see the difference in you drafting PPR and you drafting standard.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Question number 1. First quarterback off the board if you're drafting PPR and if you're drafting standard.
First quarterback if I'm drafting PPR is going to be Jalen Hurts, standard Josh Allen.
Okay. Second question. For PPR and standard, obviously.
Okay.
Travis Kelce is gone.
Okay.
Who are you targeting
Mark Andrews.
in both?
Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson.
I've had TJ Hawkinson for the past 3 years. All right. Fantasy. After you probably don't have the stats in front of you, but if you could pick any player that you feel like is going to make the jump this year at running back.
At running back. I'm going to throw out a name that's rising up boards because his ADP keeps rising. I'm going to throw Travis Etienne up there.
Okay.
Travis Etienne came along last year. He got better. You tried it with DeAndre Swift, but his shoulder injury derailed his season. That's why Jamal Williams led the league in rushing touchdowns last year.
He said you tried it with DeAndre Swift.
But yeah, I can see Travis Etienne definitely making that Austin Eckler style of a jump because he's that type of a running back if they decide to use him that way. So he's somebody to keep the eyes on. J.K. Dobbins, if he stays healthy, is another one who could really start to cement himself as one of the really good up and coming running backs. We don't know what we're going to get from Tony Pollard this year because we don't even know when he's coming back. I'd like to see what we're going to get from Breece Hall. I'm actually looking forward to that. Breece Hall is going as high as like the second running back off the board in a lot of PPR leagues behind Jonathan Taylor. So looking forward to that one. Dameon Pierce is another one. If you can snatch a guy like Dameon Pierce in the 4th or 5th round, you definitely should.
It's neat to be said too that especially in PPR this year, Case Keenum likes throwing the running backs.
You think Case Keenum gonna start over Davis Mills?
Yeah, I actually do.
Okay.
I actually do. Okay. Davis Mills is looking last year to start again.
This is what Case Keenum now. What, he's 35?
Yeah. They should just start him just to give him a hometown thing.
Okay.
He's play college ball here.
Oh yeah, I know he's a 5-year guy at U of H. Yeah. Go Cougs.
This one is strictly PPR because I plan on playing a little bit of PPR this year. This one is personal for me.
Well, I'm trying to get you in the money league this year, so you will be getting some PPR practice.
Christian McCaffrey is gone.
Okay.
Who are the 3 running backs you're eyeing? If Christian McCaffrey,
Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker III, Travis Etienne.
Damn, I was right with Kenneth Walker III because okay, all right. Now we're gonna switch to some NBA. We're not talking fantasy no more. I just want to know what you think. Okay. Does Miami Heat win?
Win what?
Win the playing game.
Yeah, we're gonna play Toronto. We're playing Toronto because it sounds like Chicago just like fell off the face of the earth.
Should Memphis be favored against the Lakers?
Hold 1 second. I'm getting an update on that score real quick. It is 93-93 apparently. Oh, okay. So apparently the Carew show got him back into the game.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's 93 all. Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, to answer your question, yes, we will win our play-in game. Doesn't matter which one of these 2 teams that we play.
Should Memphis be favored over the Lakers?
Yes.
Even without Steven Adams?
Yes. Because Jaren Jackson.
Okay.
I'm curious to see the matchup between Jaren Jackson and Anthony Davis. So yes, I'm interested as far as that goes because he's a rim protector.
Yes, he is.
And a lot of what the Lakers did last night was a lot of inside scoring because they couldn't find a 3 ball to save their life. So if Jaren Jackson limits the amount of pretty much the problem that the Lakers are running into, which is similar to what Miami ran into against Atlanta, they won a lot of second chance opportunities because there weren't a lot of rebounds happening. So now across 7 games, I do think the Lakers will win this series. So spoiler alert. But I do understand why 100% why Memphis is favored. Well, obviously, look at their seeding. That should tell you the first reason why they should be favored. So
this one is going to be based on more of the stuff that started last year.
Okay, go for it.
When the playoffs are done, excluding the finals, who will win the Magic Johnson Award and who will win the Larry Bird Award.
Are you asking me the Eastern or Western Conference Finals representatives? Ain't that what those are?
They're the MVPs of the
MVPs of.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Of the. All right, so the Larry Bird representing the East,
and the Magic Johnson represents the West. So
right,
essentially, yes, I'm asking you your picks, but who you think is going to be the player that wins those awards? Because I mean, it could. I mean, we seen Danny Green go off one year and almost become the Finals MVP. But
I mean,
LeBron,
would a player that like balled out in like the second round be enough to be like? What if that team got? What if they got eliminated in 7?
no, because it's just of the Western Conference Finals only. So,
for the Larry Bird Trophy, give me Joel Embiid picking up another. I'm a fan, but I'm not an unrealistic fan.
That is shocking. Okay.
Yeah. In the West, that one's a little trickier. For the Magic Johnson, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. It's probably like the last time anybody will ever catch me doing this too, but give me LeBron.
Very nice. So I guess there's no reason for me to ask you your Finals MVP dark horse team.
My Finals MVP dark horse team?
Your Finals dark horse team, my bad.
Dark horse is actually my dark horse is gonna be Cleveland. Because Cleveland is like really good and just not really talked about. Like Donovan Mitchell has quietly been balling the fuck out, and we are just not talking about it at all.
Donovan Mitchell should be first or second team All NBA.
Oh, he got to be first team in my book.
And guess what, people who are out there thinking otherwise? He's replacing Luka. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, no.
Well, damn. Maybe your GOAT was right. He was like, there might not be an interview tonight.
No, he's not far out.
Okay.
I talked to him already.
I was actually trying to wait for him to do the crossover, but
yeah, we can still wait for him. He's on the way home right now, so we'll catch him here shortly. It takes him about 15 minutes, so.
Well,
unless you just want to do the crossover, we do the crossover, and then we can because I know you got a music topic too that you want to.
Yeah, the crossover is still part of the music topic. That's why I was like, well, okay. I might as well because I really want his answer on it. So
that's cool. That means I can hit everybody with the controversy then.
There you go.
So let's get it. All right, so I'm either going to upset some people or I'm going to upset some people. I don't really care either way. Somebody is not going to be happy about this conversation, but it needs to be had. So, ladies and gentlemen, this happened earlier today. So, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird are among the female athletes that signed a letter opposing trans athletes. So, I bring that up because I was watching another story earlier in the week and it caught me off guard. So Riley Gaines. So some know Riley Gaines, some don't. So Riley Gaines was a collegiate swimmer who was a very great collegiate swimmer who unfortunately was a victim of dealing with a trans athlete that was able to participate in collegiate swimming, who was a male that identified as a female, that when they looked at the rankings, he was ranked like number 1200 or some shit like that. Like he was ranked very low. All of a sudden came over to the women's side and started dominating and, took a lot from them. So Miss Gaines has been very vocal. She has spoken out about this on numerous occasions, numerous shows. She was at a conference actually where once she finished speaking at this conference, she was literally berated, verbally assaulted, people throwing things from the trans community. I mean, they were saying things like when I watched the video, I was just like, holy shit. Like, I mean, they were sitting there just talking, like Trans women are women too, like all this type of stuff. Like it was just a crazy thing, and I'm like, all right. So this is a 2-part real talk because we're going to talk about two things at the same time. So the first thing we're going to talk about is me personally, as a coach who has coached male and female athletes. I do not want personally. I don't want trans athletes transitioning over to the male or the female side. I really don't, especially males transitioning to the female side. It sets a really bad precedent for a lot of hardworking women, a lot of hardworking female athletes, because they're already at a disadvantage in some ways athletically, as far as when you talk about being able to jump and like the way that we do, like the way that most male athletes, and let's use basketball, the way that an NBA player naturally can just get up and dunk like it's nothing. Whereas in the WNBA, there's less than 6 women who have ever dunked. Period.
And they're all basically 7 foot.
Yeah, they're not. There aren't people that are like, they're not there aren't female WNBA players or college players that are you and our heights that are getting up and dunking. But we got a guy like Spud Webb who got up and dunked. Like, you see where I'm going with this? Like that's a problem. Like it is a legitimate, it's an unfair advantage, and that's how I'm going to call it. I 100% am on board with them participating in their own division.
Yep.
I have no problem with that. If you have enough trans athletes to fill out, a trans league, by all means do so. But having a male who transitions to female participate in female sports is just not, no, it's not good. Because I just imagine, like, even if you were, let's say, 28 years old, say you're a 28-year-old male, you're a track and field runner, and you decide to transition into becoming a female. You identify as a female and you go run track and field. And you're good, and you were, let's just say you were an average male sprinter. Let's just say average. You're gonna go into the female circuit and you're gonna be a monster.
All-time great.
And it's not a slight at female athletes. It's just, unfortunately, it's the way that we're all built. There are some phenomenal female athletes out there. But then when you start adding in, like, oh, the physical things of it, like it's just, there's too many variables, too many factors as to why it should not be the case.
Well, I got a perfect example of this because I'm pretty sure you can identify with this. Y'all probably did it too when you went to Lee. We had our freshman A team scrimmage against the women's varsity.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and I knew that, what I'm saying, that it would have been. I figured that the freshman A team would win, but I never thought it would have been a landslide victory like it was, because we had a good female team in high school. Like, we went to bi-regional. Shay went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Division I basketball player. Janae went D2. Ashley went D2. Like, we were I think top 25 in the state. Like, we were real good. But they stepped on, and all of them were basically 18, 17, 18, and right there in the athletic primes, and we were still 14.
Yeah.
15. Smoked them. And it wasn't by 40 points smoked them. It wasn't close. There's a reason why that happens. There's a reason why the girls play with a smaller ball. There's a reason why, even though a lot of people don't notice, the net in women's volleyball is shorter than the guy in men's volleyball. There are reasons. That's why I agree with Shaq when Shaq said maybe they should drop the NBA, the WNBA, go just a little bit, maybe to 9-6 for the women.
I'd even say 9-5. Just drop it down to 9-5. Now, the only problem is everybody's shot changes now.
Mm-hmm.
Like 100%, everybody's shot changes.
Yeah,
except for the bigs, because they just got to get up. That's it. But for your shooters, like your Caitlin Clarks and all them, like, your shot completely changes because you've been shooting on a 10-foot goal since you were like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and now all of a sudden you have to prepare to shoot, a half a foot shorter. So that, I think, will be difficult. But the second part about this is the fact that we have to we have two very prominent female athletes now, professionals at that are signing into this bill. So that you're having more and more women stand up, to this, and then they start catching backlash from the trans community, and I'm like, I watch it and like I just keep reading things, and I'm like, wait a minute, like why? I would like to understand why they're so upset because I don't think the gravity of the situation is being fully grasped. Like I understand there needs to be what's the word we use? Inclusion. All that stuff. Inclusion and acceptance are not the same thing.
Well, inclusion is giving them their own league. Just like
Exactly. It's not integrating you into something that would give you legitimately, literally a competitive advantage. It's not that. Like, it's just not.
we have Special Olympics, bro, and millions of people tune into the Special Olympics.
Hey, the Special Olympics is dope.
It's what it's inclusion.
But it's we live in a world where we can't make everybody happy no matter what we do, because then all of a sudden if we create, let's just say we created a trans sports union, and they had basketball, track and field, whatever, however many sports that can be filled. Then all of a sudden, let's just say the ratings are a quarter of what the WNBA pulls in. Then what?
If you flop, you flop.
Because I'm like, what? Like, I'd like to understand it, but I don't understand it from a perspective of, let me just jump into something that's already established like this and literally dominate because I couldn't do the same prior to this.
So Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe have signed against it.
Yes.
And I want to really be clear about this because they are two very, very prominent members of the LGBTQ community. That's how you say it, right?
Correct. I think there's a plus in there now, if I remember correctly.
Plus, I just said I had to make sure because Carlos Miller just took me out when he said the LMNOP community.
Got you. If I remember correctly, I believe those two are actually married.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a couple, but you're talking about one of the greatest women's basketball players, and you're talking about one of the greatest women's soccer players of all time, like a true power couple, if you want to play that game. Standing up, and then of course, like I said, then you had Riley as well. So it's like you have all these, and I don't think we're gonna see I don't think the end of this is here yet. Like I really don't. Like, because Riley Gaines has been speaking out on this for years, like ever since the day it happened, when she was on the podium, and I think she took second. I believe she took second. Like to this day, like she has been on so many different podcasts and so many different interviews, and she literally she travels around the US. She's like a big time advocate. So it's like, I wonder when this is all going to come to a head. But I don't know what the true solution is.
The true solution is just to give them their own league.
But that only appeases a part of the crowd.
Oh, that's fine, but guess what? The WNBA only appeases a part of the crowd too.
No, true.
I mean, you know me. I watch WNBA every now and then and stuff like that. I'm not a very avid watcher, but like the big games, I'll sit there and watch. And Candace Parker is my favorite player. She's always my favorite player since she was at Tennessee, and she dunked the basketball at Tennessee.
I know. Even Kelsey Plum spoke out, against it as well. But yeah, I mean, like that's they should. You've got to defend your sport, your territory, because right now we've only talked about like basketball. We talked about track and field. Let's take it a step further. Let's talk about like powerlifting. Let's start throwing the weight room into it now. Take a take a 6'2", 240-pound male that decides he wants to become a female all of a sudden and be a power lifter. And there are some phenomenal Olympian female power lifters out there. Think about all the work, all the blood, sweat, tears, the injuries, everything that they've had to go through just to get on that podium. And then you bring in this one random individual and all that's like wiped away.
And you can't compete.
No, like you can compete, but not the way that you have been competing. You're competing from behind the 8 ball already. And that's unfortunate. Even we'll go, we'll take it up one more notch. We'll look at the world of CrossFit. CrossFit is a worldwide thing. And you take something like that and then you start adding in things of that sort. And now you're like, okay, you got these phenomenal individuals that have been working their asses off for their entire lives to just simply be uprooted by by an individual like that. And it's just not, it's messed up.
It's highway robbery. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So you've got to make it make sense. If I'm allowed to vote, I mean, I'll participate as well. I imagine this is only the beginning. I feel like it's only gonna get crazier from here. But hopefully it's a lot. Hopefully it's not as hopefully what happened with Riley Gaines is like a one-off. I really hope that a lot of these individuals that continue to speak out and support or oppose, whatever the case might be, we can do this in a peaceful manner. Not in a way that incites violence. That's the last thing we need these days is more violence. We got enough violence in the United States and just around the world in general. So we need to be able to sit down at the round table, have a conversation, and figure out the best possible solution where cooler heads should prevail.
They should, but yeah. When you said you had a 2-part real talk, I thought that the second part of it at first was actually going to be, you can't differ in opinion these days with anybody. No. I mean, literally, she's just sitting there like, yo, trans females shouldn't be allowed to compete in female sports, and she's being attacked.
Yeah.
Hellaciously attacked, too.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely trash. Because you shouldn't attack somebody for their opinion. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, an opinion is exactly what it is. It's yours. An opinion belongs to the individual that formed it. It doesn't have to be true to you. You don't even have to agree with it. It's not your opinion. It's their opinion. So let them have their opinion. But when that said opinion now has facts behind it, it is no longer an opinion.
It's facts.
It's now facts, aka plausible. So that's how it needs to be looked at. So, like I said, I really and truly hope cooler heads can prevail. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
I don't either.
But I do believe in the POP. So I'm gonna let that be what it is there. So,
and always remember, if I ever get to go to one of them rallies, or if you get to go to one of them rallies.
Oh, I'm not going to a rally. That's too many people for me.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you was to go somewhere and people started doing that, I want to remind you, we are VIP members of the Fuck Around and Find Out Club.
100%.
Telling y'all now.
Bulls lead 107-104 with 10 seconds left, so that game got cray-cray.
Wow.
Well, it's still going on now, so it's almost there. Our special guest will be tuning in here shortly.
I can't believe Miami dropped both games.
What you mean?
Who are the Bulls playing?
No, the Bulls are playing the Raptors.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're playing the winner of the game.
Raptors versus Bulls. I'm. We had a good discussion about that on Monday, and I just remembered that. Everybody kind of went with the Raptors, and I guess we underestimated the Bulls in a way.
I mean, the Raptors had the more complete overall team. I mean, that team has been battle tested. I mean, you've got Scotty Barnes, you got Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby. Like you've got a core that's been together for a while. That Bulls core has kind of been like this. Of course, now that you've got DeMar, you got Caruso. I forget his name. What's the other light skinned name to play with him? The dunk artist.
Oh, Zach LaVine.
There we go. And I mean, there's a few others, but like that roster's not much to write home about. Not in comparison to Toronto's Toronto's roster at least. Not the way I look at it, but
Do you think Toronto should blow it up?
no.
I differ, but
I don't necessarily think they should blow it up because I feel like that team is they're like a few small things away. The East is interesting, but this summer is going to be real interesting.
I think if they don't make a big splash this summer with either free agency or trade, they should probably. And when I say blow it up, I'm just talking about you probably should give away your best player with the longest tenure, which would probably Pascal Siakam. Because what's going to happen is they're going to look like the Rockets of the late 2000s and early like 20 before they got James Harden, essentially before they got a superstar. And what that gets you is you're in the middle of the pack until somebody wants to trade their superstar. And you just got to hope that they trade him to you.
Keyword is hope when you say that.
Yeah.
Pascal had an opportunity to tie the game with 3 free throws. He made 1. Also, unlike what Mike Conley did.
I think a fresh start for Pascal would be good.
I mean, they looked at trading him and Fred VanVleet last year.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they extended VanVleet. Either they extended him or I think he got an extension. I'm pretty sure he got an extension.
I like VanVleet. He's an all-star. He's just like Kyle Lowry was. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
He'll make them as he probably make the all-star team every year as long as he stays in Toronto and keeps putting up his numbers. That fan base is a rabid fan base, and they vote for their players for sure.
I mean, when you play all the way up in Canada and you ain't got,
Yeah. Well, Toronto only got Toronto Maple Leafs left, right? Other than, yeah. Oh no, they got the baseball team.
Oh, the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Right, Blue Jays. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they had well, I mean, you got the CFL. I don't know how many, all the CFL teams are out there. So I mean, you kind of got that going for you. You don't have an NFL team. I mean, unless you you can almost claim the Bills. The Bills are your closest team.
They're not claiming the Bills.
No, I know. I'm just saying, they're right by Niagara Falls. So right on the other side of Niagara Falls is literally Canada. So it's like,
yeah,
realistically, but they don't have one, and it's okay. They don't need one. Not right now.
VanVleet, that would be my first person to trade.
Depends on his market, though.
It does depend on his market.
Because, I mean, at least with him, he's an older guard. So I guess at the end of the day, you can make it happen. But
that'd be if they trade.
It just depends on like where is his fit? What do you think?
put him and Pascal Siakam in a trade to San Antonio. That's why I think the fit is.
You would. You 100% would.
I would send any international player to San Antonio.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
No, I think Van Fleet would fit. Maybe with.
Maybe he'd be a good fit in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's getting older. They need
to replace Drew.
They need slightly younger players.
Drew is our age, so that wouldn't. Yeah. Drew Holiday is our age. He was in college our freshman year, 08, 09. So Drew is getting up there in age. I can see Miami. If Jimmy comes back from the MC Raptors, need to keep OG and Scotty. That's their future. Yeah, that's the two I want them to keep.
Yeah. If I'm targeting any of those Raptors players, I'd rather have Siakam in Miami.
You would want Siakam in Miami. See, you just did the same thing to me and said it. So you would want Siakam in Miami.
He fits our style of play.
I think Van Fleet fits y'all style of play. Because one of the main things is Van Fleet can move without the ball, and you know how Pat Riley is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to move without.
It ain't necessarily Pat Riley anymore. It's been Eric Spoelstra for a very long time now.
Yeah, but because Pat Riley is a GM, so Pat Riley looks for people that fit a certain way of playing basketball. It's
not one bad team to another. It's a relevant team from an irrelevant team.
But I mean, somebody out there will swing for the fences with Van Fleet if they feel like
there's gonna be a lot of teams swinging for the fences.
Sacramento comes to mind too, because De'Aaron Fox is not a good shooter. Sacramento does come to mind,
and Sacramento is like a couple pieces away too from being consistently where they are. Like right now, where they are in the West, they could, with a solid off season, they could continue to kind of build that.
Yeah,
and it would be pretty dope.
Sacramento definitely comes to mind. I think that's what that would be my first choice for Fred VanVleet, Sacramento. But who knows? So I think after this season, because it seems like they're going to lose. Well, they probably have already lost the game now. But I mean, if you don't make something happen, you're probably going to be in the same position you were in at the end of this year. Pascal Siakam is just going to get older. Fred VanVleet is going to get older, and you're eventually going to want to move your franchise more into OG Anunoby and Scotty Barnes' hands, because, like your GOAT said, they're the future in Toronto. So,
and the Bulls won.
Same way I feel about the Bulls. Probably best they blow that up too.
Well, they should have blew that up
last year.
Well, almost 2 years ago.
Well, 2 years ago, DeMar had that breakout freaking season when he first went.
That breakout season he should have had as a part of the Lakers, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure the Lakers paid. And paid they did.
100%. But while we get ready to sign off from here and get ready to make our transition to our interview, while we wait on our guy to get situated, what we will do is get situated. Y'all tune in tomorrow. Player versus team is going down. Another phenomenal episode. Catch DJ Micah B on that show live. Of course, catch your GOAT in the chat because he's always active. From the sidelines, we're going to keep doing what we do because that's what we do best. We only here. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep getting better. And before you know it, we're going to be on everybody's screens. So we're going to sign off from here on Gentlemen's Talk and be tuning in very shortly. You'll see the little notification pop up here in a little bit when we make that beautiful transition and we start From the Sideline Chronicles Chapter 2. So I am Mr. GQ signing off of this thing.
I am your boy DJ Micah B, leader of the Baby Mama Steelers. Catch us in about 5 minutes in the Gentleman's Lounge.
Yes, sir.
Motivation in you and inspire the world to do what you can. If you love it, then fuck it, get through it. Mumble mentality activated. I waited for so long. Get burdens out our way. When you see me in my zone, you can bet I'm doing numbers and my stock is going up 'cause of my hunger. When you